All right, well, if you're driving in New Jersey, take note. Roads in the Garden State ranked last in the nation for having the worst traffic congestion. Alaska is believed to be ranked second. New York is third. The findings released by researchers at the University of North Carolina who base their study on traffic fatalities, conditions of the roads, and also the cost of maintaining them.
And meanwhile, a poll of drivers in New Jersey finds that 87% always wear their seatbelts, but almost half admit driving more than 65 miles an hour, often or most of the time. The FDU study also found that 55% of New Jersey drivers say it's New Yorkers who are the worst drivers. And that is the subject of our Face-Off tonight. And our guest this evening, someone very familiar with driving in the tri-state area, Tony Fioranelli, a former truck driver. Now he runs Multimedia Network News, covering the news in our area. Hey, Tony, what do you have to say?
Well, there's got to be a reason why New Jersey insurance is more than New York.
All right, Tony, you heard what the man said. Now, what about you? We heard what New Jersey drivers think, and you heard what Tony has to say. You can face off. Go to myfoxny.com and face off with Tony.
And here we go. It's the battle of the bridge and tunnel states. New York pitted against New Jersey. We're talking about which state has the worst drivers.
Well, that is the subject of our face-off tonight. Paul from Long Island writes, just compare car insurance rates in both states. New Jersey is the highest for a reason.
All right, let's check in with our guest. Tony, a former truck driver. What do you think?
Well, that's the truth, because they come into the city, and as they drive, they're not used to all the traffic. They're not used to congestion, so they end up getting stuck in the middle of the crosswalks. They screw everything up, and then they blame us. Then they say, well, because we cut them off, we do this, we do that. It's not true. They stand still. They don't move.
All right, there it is. If you want to face off with Tony tonight, you can do it. Go to myfoxny.com right now. Stay with us. And watch out, things could get heated in tonight's face-off. We're asking who's worse, New York drivers or New Jersey drivers? Well, Suzanne from New Jersey writes, New Jersey drivers are horrible. When I try to make a U-turn in New Jersey, I'm always being honked at. New Jersey, you're not perfect.
All right, let's check in with our expert guest, Tony, a former truck driver. What's the word, Tony, on that?
2 words, jug handles. Why?
Okay, Tony, go to myfoxny.com right now. Face off.
It's time for Face Off.
All right, here we go. Tonight's topic, are New Jersey drivers better than New York drivers?
All right, tough one now. You're facing off with Tony Fioranelli, a former truck driver who now runs Multimedia Network News.
All right, Tony, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. We got this email from a viewer in Queens who says New Jersey drivers need to come to New York for driving lessons. We are at least we have the common courtesy to use our signals when we're turning. Ooh, that's pretty nasty. What do you think,
Well,
Tony?
I think you're absolutely right. You know, they should come to New York for lessons. You know, we're the better drivers. We know how to park. We know how to make left turns with oncoming traffic coming at us. There's a lot we know that they don't know because they don't get to drive like we do. We drive under pressure. They don't.
All right, Tony, here's a RuPaul from Tenafly, New Jersey. He's ready to face off, and he writes, I agree with that poll. Come on, New Yorkers, face it. You're the worst drivers. Tony.
Okay, RuPaul, not for nothing. When was the last time you were in New York with a car? How many times you take the train into New York? Are you just a tad afraid of coming in here with your own car?
All right. Zach from Brooklyn had this to say. He's bipartisan. He says New York and New Jersey drivers are all crazy. Do everyone a favor and take public transportation. What do you think about that, Tony?
Well, Zach, you must take the bus and train quite often. That's why you're probably afraid to drive, and you say that we're all crazy because you don't want to get behind the wheel yourself.
Let's take this one from Candace right now from Queens. She says, oh, please, driving in New York is no piece of cake. It takes a lot of courage and fast reflexes to drive here. If people from Jersey don't like it, then stay off the roads.
Absolutely. We have to contend with cabs. Try driving in midtown traffic with cabs cutting you off left and right. You need to have fast reflexes. You need to know what to do. That's why Jersey drivers have a problem here.
Well, Christina from New Jersey disagrees. She writes, New Yorkers are the worst drivers. Don't get me started. They're either laying on the horn the minute the light turns green or they don't use their blinkers. Tony.
Well, we're laying on the horn because We have to. When you don't move and you're staying there because you're froze, because you're afraid to make a left, you can't make a right, you can't decide if you want to park your car in that spot or go to the next spot, yeah, we lay on the horn. We need to move. And as far as the turn signals, well, we have to be fast.
We're going to be fast right now. Tony Fioranelli, thank you so much for joining us. There you have it, another hot topic in tonight's Face-Off. Thank you very much for joining us.
And remember, the conversation doesn't end. It continues on myfoxny.com. Now here's Duke.